Trip After Party on the Power Trip Podcast Network.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hey, Ben, we didn't really talk about it. We touched on it. How good a guy, if he is a good guy, is Saquon Barkley?
He's surprisingly a super cool guy. Yeah, he's... Yeah, I had no idea what he was going to be like. I had heard from the Best Buy people because they worked with him last year at some fitness expo in New York City, and they asked him to come out and be there as well. So they had told me that like he's super great, very very normal, whatever. And then we all are staying at the same hotel, and we all ride together to the place, and immediately we shake hands and say hello and whatever. And he was very just like look in the eye and say hi. But he and his girlfriend Anna. They were going on vacation, so they were schlepping all these big bags and stuff, and so they're kind of preoccupied and stuff like that. But otherwise, he was great. We had good conversation. He seems pretty normal. He was kind of picking my brain just about football stuff, which I thought was just kind of. I mean, it was fun. He doesn't have to talk to me. He doesn't have to like even give me the time of day. He was just kind of asking advice and all that stuff, and he just seemed like a normal, as normal as you can be for being 21 years old, and living in that gigantic fishbowl that is New York and the New York media, and a high prized recruit, and he had a lot of reasons to be a dick, I think, to be a douchebag, and he wasn't. And I will say this from a just a male appreciation standpoint. That dude's thighs are every bit as thick and as muscular as you think. So he showed up on set. He didn't adhere to the dress code as much as he should have. So there's some issues with that. But he wore shorts. He just wore like white shorts, and they were sort of like mid thigh, kind of like a little bit of a Euro cut, and tennis shoes. And dude, when you see him on TV, and you're like, dude, that's a thick, well built running back. Yeah. And you see him in person, you're like, God damn. Like, he is just, his legs are massive.
Maybe jeans can't contain those motherfuckers.
Maybe he looks odd. He might be one of those guys that looks really odd in jeans because his thighs are so big.
That big?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he's every bit like is what you think as like a power running back like that.
Like a bodybuilder, like a power lifter or something like that.
But no, he was great.
Really cool.
He was great. My little my little nephew is a huge Giants fan, a huge Saquon fan. I saw my nephew this fall when I was out in Pennsylvania to go visit, and he came running at me. And he's wearing a Saquon jersey, like he'd worn that to school. So I asked Saquon, I'm like, hey man, I got my little nephew is a huge fan, and they live in Lancaster. I was like, would you just do like a quick video with you and I? And so he did, and he was so awesome. And he was like, "Hey, Kel, what's up? It's Saquon. You're a PA boy. Guy, whatever." He was great about that. I sent it to my brother, and I guess this just visualizing the reaction. I guess they were at his daughter's basketball game, and the video came through, and my nephew Kellen was there just happened to be around some of his little friends, and he didn't know what the video was, and they're like, "Hey, Kel, watch this." And I guess they were in the corner of the gym, like jumping up and down, and like he was super happy. I got a text from my brother's in-laws family saying like thank you and all that stuff because it kind of made his year. So that's
awesome.
Yeah, it was. I got to be cool uncle all because Saquon was so kind of gracious to give his time.
And you got a cameo. You didn't even have to pay for it.
That's right. Yeah, I got a cameo and didn't have to pay for it.
Nice for it.
Word up.
I have to also say thank you. Literally, I don't know when I've laughed as hard as I laughed at that fucking parrot or whatever that bird is.
I've watched
at that cage.
10 times over. And
I cried.
Yeah.
I cried. I laughed so hard, man. That goddamn thing reminds me so much of my grandma. I can't even tell you the way she's cussing at that cage and fuck, and then it turns and walks away and then comes back and fucking.
There's two parts to it. Kind of early on in the clip, it's kind of standing on to the parrots or the what kind of bird is it? A parrot? I don't know.
Macaw, something like that. Yeah.
So it's like standing
Cockatoo.
on the left side of the 2x4.
Yeah.
And he's so mad he stomps over and pecks the 2x4 because like you guys have been that mad where you just want to like bite something. It's like I'm so mad.
Damn,
and then you get to see the rage, and then later on at the end of it, he like jerks his head back. He goes, fuck it. He like throws his head back like he can't even contain himself.
Can't contain the anger.
He cannot.
Damn, man.
Yeah, think of how many times he's watched somebody melt down. He's that familiar with a meltdown.
Well, that's just it because they only mimic behavior, right? So So apparently the story is that guy that was stomping the cage adopted him from a guy that kept him in that small cage. And so he was, I don't know if he actually recognized that that's what it was. But the guy that must have owned him before must have been a complete jackass.
Must have swore.
Swore all the
Yeah,
it's
all
like
the time.
It's like the video that we in the audio hockey had of the little kid going, Linda, Linda.
Right.
It's just that's the way his
Mimicking
dad talks.
dad,
Yeah.
Right.
God, that video. I could watch that thing over and over. I'd laugh just as hard each time.
God, damn,
Super
that was
funny.
Yeah.
That's all. That was all from what's his Rex Chapman.
Yeah.
Oh, was it?
So
Yeah.
Rex Chapman on Twitter is brilliant. Every time I'm like, I'm going to start following him. His problem then is he retweets like all the good comments that are of those videos, and then it's just like, all right, fuck it, I'm not following him anymore because it's like he'll retweet like all these brilliant videos, but then everyone who makes a good comment about it, he retweets it again, and it's like, I can't do that.
I basically follow Rex Chapman because everybody that is on my feed
Correct.
that follows him likes videos, so I see almost all of the videos
Yeah.
anyway, and I don't have to follow him.
Yeah, correct. Well,
I said
that's-
this in Abbott's office. It's been a couple of weeks ago, though. For the longest time, I thought it was Reg Chapman.
Oh, from Channel
4? I
4?
swear to God,
Oh,
that's
my
not a
gosh.
joke. On my life.
Yeah.
I thought that's who was retweeting all
Yeah.
these things. I'm like, that fucking guy's funny. I had no idea.
This guy
I went
gets
to
a ton of
Kuwait with
social
him. I had
media
no
play.
idea. He was
Reg.
so funny.
Maybe Chappelle hooked him up with a giant social media following.
Yeah.
Whoops.
So I'm really late to the game on this guy as well. Bob Menery. Do you guys know Bob Menery?
I just know the name. Wasn't it, Zach, weren't you talking about him last week? Who was talking about Bob last week?
I wasn't talking about him, but a lot of people think that when they hear his voice, because basically what he does is he takes clips from like sporting events, like big plays, and he does his own play-by-play over it, and it's vulgar, and some of it's pretty funny.
Oh, wow.
But his voice, I guess, sounds a lot like mine, so people think that I'm Bob Menery.
Gotcha. Okay.
I got to go poop. I can't wait.
That guy's
anymore.
brilliant.
I have to go.
too.
I'll be right
Yeah,
back.
why did-
Bob,
yeah,
that guy's
go on.
brilliant.
He's so funny.
He's so funny.
Did you see the latest one where he does the clip of the basketball player that like takes a flop?
No, he's so funny.
The basketball player is like setting a pick, and he gets bumped by the other guy's elbow, like kind of in his hip area, and he falls in the ground. And in his announcing voice, he's like, "Well, we know this is a flop because if you've ever been hit in the dick before, he's like." It all starts in your ball sack and kind of works its way up to your cock.
He's
And
so
then it's like,
he's so good.
but he's
his
straight
reactions
faces
is way too immediate because if you've ever gone through that, it takes a while for that pain to kind of hit your penis.
So he plays it straight though. That's
he
but
plays
he
it completely
swears,
straight.
He's got an
Broadcasting.
announcer voice, and he talks like
Got it.
this, and it's
pretty good,
when
Zach.
he goes, it starts from your balls and heads up to your cock. It sounds like
sounds like he's
Bob Costas.
Yeah.
And when
It's brilliant.
I love when he'll be doing a video of some brawl that's about to happen, and right as it's happening, he'll go, Jesus fucking Christ! And it's he does that all the time, where he's like, holy shit! Yeah, it's his swearing. He swears, but it's good. The
it's
timing of it, the
appropriate.
rhythm
It's-
of it
yeah.
is brilliant.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, he's a great Twitter follow.
He's super funny.
How do you spell his last name? Anybody know?
MENERY.
MEN, one N?
Just one N. So men, you type in, you might come up with something else when you type in.
Yeah,
men
no,
in your-
yeah.
That's it. Yeah, you don't care how to spell the rest of it.
No, that's enough. I'll figure it out from there.
Well, that's a good segue. What do you think he'd say about that Kansas fight?
Well, I saw that yesterday.
Ben was so proud of his Wildcats.
About a lot of people are like, we need that guy to do the play-by-play
Yeah.
of that. I bet he will. He's the voice of Buffalo Wild Wings, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Oh,
So
cool.
if you hear the commercials now, you'll hear him.
That's him.
And they people are like, "Are you the guy from the Buffalo Wild Wings commercial?" Which,
You
by the
wish.
way,
One person has said that to you.
I've had multiple people.
him on blast.
I'm a big deal now, Sauce. I'm sorry you can't handle it, but I have a significant following.
Yeah.
My parents, my friends, and
Halvey
a couple of their friends. I mean, Halvey Fest was 9-10 people strong.
But growing.
Yeah, we're hoping to get 20 this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Sauce can handle it.
Just think if you get one more person to show up, you have a 10% growth.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Just one more person.
Yeah.
I'll be there though next year.
Thank you.
You do that. You do 10% growth every year, and then in 40 years, you're going to be fucking stacked.
Good God. Might have 100 people then. I don't know how math works, so.
Like Billie Eilish, right?
Yeah,
Brand?
Billie.
Oh, can we talk about that real quick?
Yeah.
I've voiced my opinion that I don't understand Billie Eilish.
Sure.
I don't get the music. I saw that she won the best newcomer or whatever artist of the year. Whatever.
Yeah, I think she won 5 awards.
So anyway,
last night.
The reason why I think she frustrates me even more now, watching more of her, especially when she's giving like her acceptance speech or when she's singing on stage last night at the Grammys, I feel like she could do so much more. She's a beautiful.
I'll agree with that.
She's a beautiful young woman that has an amazing voice, and she cheats herself because she does this whisper talk that it's like you're not even giving us the full capabilities of your artistry, and I'm like, and so it's frustrating that you're winning all these awards because you're unique and whatever, but please branch out because I think she could be
Bring more heat. Yeah.
Bring some more heat. Like show us more of what you got.
So talented.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
there.
like, and you're kind of hiding behind this. I know that she doesn't want to be poppy or whatever, but I think if you strip away some of the hair and the distracting nails that she had on, that you couldn't even like see her face, I'm like, you're.
Well, Brian, tell Ben your theory.
Well, it's not my theory. It's the fact that she dresses like an idiot, like she does, because she
But it's all
entered when she
Gucci.
was like, it's Gucci Gang. She was like 15 or 13 when Ocean Eyes even got recorded.
Great song.
Right? And so I think she's really overwhelmed with the attention. And I think
she probably should. That's
reasonably so.
yeah.
But so she dresses that way because she doesn't want to be sexualized, like especially before she was 18 too.
Right.
And I get that, whatever. But so I think with the artistry, with the clothes, with the nail, just the look, I think she just is almost probably having a hard time coming to grips. Like who the fuck am I? You know
But
what I
I
mean?
still
In
think
front of
that
all
you
these
could
people?
be.
Give her some time.
No,
We figured it out
now
at
Halsey
25.
might be a bad example, but I love
Oh
Halsey
my God.
too.
Did you
She's
see
a
her
little bit
on
older,
Saturday?
But I think that
Jesus.
she
That's
doesn't
a pretty-
have to
that's
be
a pretty girl, man.
that she's a
Saturday.
beautiful
Oh,
woman.
that's right.
Holy
Really?
cow.
And I'm like, so Halsey, I think she does show a little bit more of her body.
Yeah.
But yeah, a little bit,
Almost
a little bit.
all of it.
Music video I told you to look at?
No, but even on
You should be
SNL,
sad.
it was most of it.
Oh my god. Well, there's even more online. Oh my god.
Yeah.
But I think that you can live in that alternative world and still not feel like you're sexualized.
Yeah.
And I feel like once
That comes from confidence and
hopefully she
age,
figures
you
it
know?
out. She gets the right advice of like, just let your singing chops and your like, she's got a great talent. But I'm distracted by the whisper singing and her this like hiding behind this like facade.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Little contrived, but I don't think she means it to
Yeah.
be. So it's,
So to
yeah.
be specific, though, because Brianne was saying like, that the rumor is that she's just racked.
I mean,
That it's
go
not
on
just like
Instagram.
that she
really?
wants to
Yeah.
be 16 and like non-sexualized. That it's like a Jessica Simpson situation where
is that how old she is right now?
I think she just turned 18. So it's one of those. If I'm a 16-year-old phenom, but I'm racked out at 16, that's all anybody's going to talk about.
I get that. I
So-
think that's smart to hide.
That is really smart.
Yeah.
100%. Because she has a giant following now, and it has nothing to do with
Right, she doesn't cash in on that career.
Right, she doesn't
Yeah,
cash in
she
at
doesn't need
all
to. Yeah.
on the rack, which
Right.
is kind of insane because a lot of those pop stars, and that's why she doesn't want to be
I
pop.
would.
You can bank off that. I mean, Katy Perry's a good singer, but Katy Perry's ultra famous because dudes love her body and gals like her singing, right?
Right.
I don't know a lot of dudes that are like, Katy Perry songs are great.
John Creasel.
Yeah.
Okay, outside of Creasel, most of them are just like, God, her body is kind of insane.
Right.
So she's made half of a career on her body. Billie's all about the vibe and the voice.
It's the opposite with me with Shawn Mendes. You know, girls like him for his body. I like him for his voice.
Very similar.
Very similar.
Yeah, very, very similar.
Yeah.
You see that? What's his lady friend?
Camilla
Let
Cabello.
him say.
Oh, sorry. Why he can't say it? Yeah. Go for it. What's her name?
Camila Cabello.
What is
You're-
it?
You almost had it.
It's Camila, right?
I mean,
Keep going.
Cabela?
Keep going.
Cabale? Cabela? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know I was doing radio with everybody who wrote the fucking Webster's goddamn dictionary and pronunciation
in Spanish.
in Spanish.
That's the title of the book?
Yeah. But that bit, and it may have been like the timing of like the Kobe thing. Obviously, that was a huge
Jeez.
part of it.
I just saw the Halsey video. Yikes.
Dude, when she's singing to
She's
her
not
dad
hiding
about,
those.
oh, fuck. I sobbed last night watching that.
I don't
Yeah.
mean to bring it back to boobs, but do you
No,
think
feel
those
free.
are fake though? I can't figure it out.
Halsey's?
I think they're no. They do a really nice job
mean,
now.
you
They look so. Oh, okay.
Look at those things.
They're so like just set.
Yeah,
and
they are
shi-
pretty
and
set.
shiny.
Holy fuck!
I don't feel like she always had that.
Jeez.
Either way.
Either way,
But either way, like,
is fine.
I was.
me that
I
video.
didn't think. When she first hit the scene, I didn't think she was super pretty, but man, her face on Saturday Night Live just got me on Saturday. I'm like, wow, her skin is like flawless. She's really, really pretty
And
can-
really talented.
She's one of the best singers we have in
Yeah.
this country, and it's not even close. She's terrific.
And such an artist too, because she's done so much even in the last year. I mean, she had Nightmare, and she was there.
Great song.
She was on SNL like a year ago.
East
already.
Side was
And
terrific.
she did the painting thing.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
East
Like,
Side.
that painting thing was sick.
It was great.
She mixes it up, keeps reinventing herself. She is
Can't wait
on
to see
track
her.
to be one of the most brilliant artists of all time if she keeps this track up.
Wasn't she discovered as like is it One Direction or something where she was singing their songs on YouTube? I think that's how she got discovered.
She was obsessed with Harry Styles.
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
And she sang like a dumb little song about like being his girlfriend or
Yeah.
something, and it. Yeah.
That's how
Yeah.
she
I
was
think-
discovered.
I don't know if that's
it's
fully,
part of it,
Yeah,
I think, yeah.
it's kind of brought a little bit more notoriety to her. But I mean, she was just kind of like a small artist for a really long time. She was nobody when I knew her in like 2016. You know, not bragging.
Can I share it since this is a podcast and they can hear shit that probably nobody cares about, but whatever, it's a fucking podcast. I do another, I used to do fill in on another, producing another podcast in the building for kind of outside people. It's called Wrong About Everything. Anyway,
Oh, that must have gone well.
they still do it. Yeah.
I'm the producer.
Yeah, she's the producer now. She gets all my sloppy seconds, but
Fuck you.
Is it the Talk Station podcast? Who does this?
nah, I mean they use the studios, but then it was never like on the radio or anything.
Okay.
But one of the hosts,
Sounds
her
great.
name is I think Karen Rotz. Karen Rotz. So she picks the music for it, and it's like a bunch of local artists, people I've never fucking heard of before.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was cleaning out my folder because Jeff Manis is a
Makes
dick,
you, right.
and won't let me have a couple of gigs of
Yeah.
data on the fucking server. But anyway, God forbid I have media on at a company called iHeartMedia. But whatever.
Let's not get too ahead of ourselves.
Anyway,
Let's not get too far over our skis, buddy.
so I'm going
Jeff's
through the
not gonna listen
folder,
to this.
and there's some old like stuff from like 2016 in there, and in this music folder, and
Yeah, can't
two.
I know why he wants you to delete shit.
Right, I don't know why. That's true. I probably should delete that. But so two of the songs were in there were from Lizzo, from 2016.
No.
I don't remember really playing, but I remember probably was like, oh, who the fuck is Lizzo?
Right.
And then 2 days later, she's
Giant deal.
winning a fucking Grammy. Like
Yeah.
it just was really cool for me to see like something back then and now, but how much she's grown. The fact that she was Minneapolis. So
Ben, have you? Maybe I think I asked you this. Maybe have you seen Billie Eilish's Carpool Karaoke with?
No,
Gordon?
I heard it's great.
Dude. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's to your point because again, I was a convert on Billie because my daughter was obsessed with her like a year and a half
Your
ago.
butthole daughter.
Correct. Yeah.
Which I still haven't heard that whole story.
Oh, I'll tell you it off air. It's not worthy of a repeat story, but it's pretty good off air.
It's really funny.
But I had to listen to that Billie Eilish album so many times because my wife liked it and both of my girls liked it that it eventually just clicked. And I'm like, I get it. Like, she's really, really good. It just took me a while to, like, get over the vibe. But you watch that Carpool Karaoke of just her she breaks out a ukulele at one point that, you know, her and Corden have stored in the back
Yeah,
seat.
yeah. Just
When
so
it's
happen to have this
When it's just
ukulele.
her and her ukulele, you're like, fucking A, can this girl sing? So
She's a good singer.
she is
like,
a terrific singer. So it's all calculated. Her brother's a genius too. Her brother is Phineas. Musically, he's unbelievable. Can play every instrument. He's a freak.
6 Grammys, right?
He's
He has
just
his own career, yeah.
he's terrific. So they're both super good. I don't think they're going anywhere. And the army of Billie Eilish Nation is gigantic. Like every week in our prep service, you know, it has the album sales. Like this week, Eminem was 1, Halsey was 2. She's been in the top 10 for like a year and a half now. It's like every 30 or 40,000 copies every week. She never leaves the top 10 because people just keep jumping on board. Like this gal's longevity. I don't think the Billie Eilish thing is a flash.
Well,
in the pan.
and
I
maybe
think she's
that- and
5
maybe
to 10
that's-
years minimum, if not much longer.
maybe that's part of my frustration. Not frustration, because I really don't give a shit. But
Yeah. But fascination at
but
least.
fascination is that okay, she's this popular, and I feel like she's given us about 10% of her singing range or her singing capabilities. When you watch her and you're like, oh my gosh, she could do so much more. It's not even about, like, I love the fact that she's like, I want to be known for my content and for me as an artist and singer. So I'm not going to be sexualized. I'm going to cover my body up. I'm going to do this and that.
Yep.
Fine. Keep all that. But use your voice and like your fan base to like really do some incredible stuff. Like if she keeps doing this whisper singing thing, it's over. Like,
which is too bad because it's
she can't do that.
though, right?
It's different, but
Right.
I just
That's
think
the frustrating part.
It'll become a fad. Then it's like, okay, that was kind of cool for a while, but you got to keep giving us more and more and more.
Don't you kind of hate the baby singing too? She does almost in a baby voice.
Yeah,
I don't like that.
How was your giant dump?
He's got a look of
He's limping. It was
bewilderment
so
on his face.
The toilet's limping right now. That I'll tell you what. Now, so here's something that I just did. I've never been able to do in my life. I felt pretty good about it. I walked in and somebody was in, one of our sales folks was in the handicap stall, you know.
Oh, no.
Which I really needed so I could get a good spread in there. So you know what I did? So I went into the non-handicap stall and hung my
The cane over the
cane
sides.
so that it hung over the top so the guy in the handicap stall. I have no idea who it was. No, I have no idea who it was. I was like,
You should have done an old man voice and be like, "Get the fuck out of there."
That's
Some of us
technically
handicap
illegal.
I should have made noises. Oh, God, this hurts so bad. I can't get up. You need to help me. I can't get
Who
up.
does number 2 work for? Second Austin Power joke.
No, I love it. But I do it all the time, too. If you get to choose and, you know,
The best.
choose the biggest one. That's right.
So a question for you. If you wanted to have sex in a Minneapolis airport bathroom, how would you do it? Because you can't have a wide enough stance to tap any feet, right?
That's a good point.
You're kind of fucked.
Probably not, actually.
you're not
That's the
gonna
exact
go there.
opposite of that. I'm probably not, yeah. I don't know, man.
Sauce, you ever bang somebody in a bathroom? Oh my god. A public bathroom.
No, not a public bathroom.
You wouldn't do that. Germs, right?
Yeah, gross. I don't like. Yeah,
God, how gross are
the
these sluts?
airport? The airport bathrooms are the fucking most disgusting because it's so much traffic. I hate going into an airport bathroom.
Nobody who goes right into the shitter when they come off the plane is feeling good.
Like when you get out, like when I go in there and like there's like 7 people lined up to use like the trough, and I'm like, fuck, I gotta take either a dump or like I'm gonna use the one. I use my foot to open the door. I don't. Oh, gross.
Dude, let me tell you, one of the, that's almost said bravest. What a dumb thing to say. One of the greatest examples of self-control I've ever seen in my life happened in an airport bathroom. We had all just gotten off the plane, and there was a huge line of people waiting, and everybody was, if you came in and the stall was open, you went to the stall. If the, you know, whatever, you just went and pissed because everybody had to pee really bad. And there was a guy standing about 3 people in front of me. Thank you. About 3 people in front of me. And he literally was standing with his hand in his chin the entire time, not speaking, not moving. The line would move and he would barely move. And he just stood there like this and he was staring at the floor. And I noticed because he was, you know, he wasn't moving. He was just standing there, right? And as soon as the urinal came open in front of him, he sprinted towards it and threw up in the urinal. He'd been standing there
Just holding still?
back the vomit. And he must have stood there for 5-7 minutes.
Why
I'm
didn't
not
you just
kidding
do it in the trash can?
I don't know. I don't know. There was a trash can. It's a great point. I never thought about that.
Weird
But
fetish
I
or
watched him stand there because he literally was standing like this with his hand in his chin. his
Like
chin
thinking
in
of
his hand,
baseball during sex. It was just one of those like,
looking at
don't
the floor.
throw up.
And
don't
as
throw
soon
up,
as the guy
baseball.
moved and he saw it was his turn, he sprinted towards it and threw up as he was getting and made it into the, I mean, it went
Dude,
everywhere,
throwing up
too.
in a urinal.
In a urinal.
That
Yeah,
can't be
that's
good.
not good.
At
That's
that
gotta
point,
be a
that was best case scenario for him, I guess.
Backsplash, though, right?
Oh, yeah, just terrible. And the guy beside him, I'm sure, got some on his pants. I have no idea.
That's hot.
But I will never forget the guy just stood there and waited his turn, and then he threw up in a urinal.
Like a gentleman.
Yeah.
I hear it's a
Self-control.
symphony of farts, too.
Oh,
On
it's the
airplane,
worst.
that some comedian
Oh,
said that,
yeah,
and it's
it
just from all over the world.
Oh.
Just letting it go.
Well,
That could be any men's bathroom.
take a little
yeah.
trip to the Middle East sometime, right, Saucy?
Really?
Speaking from
It
experience.
was culture shock. Is that the right word? I mean, we got off
Yeah.
this plane, we get into these buses, and they take us into this airport, and we'd never been there before. And I go, I gotta take a piss. You walk in the bathroom, it's literally a hole in the ground.
There's nothing
no
but a hole.
That's the
westernized
Asia
bathroom.
special. Yeah.
Yeah, and then like
Yeah.
the one when we left, we were on another wing of the airport. You walk in and it's just shit all over.
everywhere.
There's shit on the floor.
People
on the
don't always
walls.
hit
They
the hole.
just-
Yeah, they just squat down and shit.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
and there's no toilet
Yeah.
paper.
It's,
Come
yeah.
on.
There's no toilet paper.
Yeah.
They don't use toilet paper.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They had a
They're into water,
westernized
yeah.
bathroom on the base.
on the base, of course. Yeah,
But that's
yeah.
it.
That was it.
I think there was maybe 1 or 2 westernized
So
bathrooms.
how do
in
you
the
clean
airport.
yourself after you shit?
There's always a hose. You wash your asshole off.
Yeah.
People, they don't wash their hands. It's just not part of their customs, you know. I've been there 4 times now, and I learned a hard way. You go right before you get off the plane, and then you hold it until you get back on the
Dude,
plane.
my backpack's gonna be full of toilet paper.
Dude, I'm gonna tell you, it's something else. People just, and again, they're literally, there's nothing fancy. There is a hole in the ground. It's not raised up off the floor. There's a hole in the ground, and people obviously just go in there and they squat down. And if it hits the hole, great. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And then somebody comes in and they take the hose and they wash it off every now and again. And you wash off your asshole with the hose, and then you go on about your business. That's why people don't shake hands, man.
Yeah, that is actually totally why
It's
they
the
don't
truth.
over there.
That's why they don't shake hands.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they know that that's how diseases are spread, but yet they're still gonna do that.
Telling you, man. I know. And they're most of the time they look immaculate. I mean, their whites that they're wearing are white as
Very
hell,
fresh.
and very fresh looking and everything like that. But underneath it's a
And
goddamn
don't they eat with
atrocity.
Nightmare.
and don't they eat with their hands?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh
they
yeah,
do.
yeah. I know, man. There's feasts everywhere. Just feasts.
Is that what
Can
you
you
need?
imagine getting one
Maybe
of
it
those
is.
pinkies up your
Yeah.
ass, just covered in feces?
If you listen close, you can hear Dwight flying there.
Who's Dwight?
Your dad.
Thank you. All right.
All right.
Talked way too
That's
much.
enough.
That's enough.
All right. Love you guys.
Thanks, guys. Good
Glad to be
see you,
back.
Chris.
Thanks for having me back. Thanks for not being so good they didn't care they didn't need me anymore.
Fair.
Bye.
Bye.
Right.